Yesterday afternoon in downtown Windsor, Ontario, the Memorial Cup arrives to the city of Windsor, and today begins the competition for that beautiful trophy. This is the 99th edition of the Memorial Cup, hosted here in Windsor, Ontario. An escort by some of the servicemen from town, and they set it up last night in downtown Windsor. Hundreds of fans went by to take a picture with it, get some autographs. Just a great day unfolding here yesterday in Windsor, Ontario, to kick off the Memorial Cup festivities. And welcome to our Memorial Cup show, the Mastercard Memorial Cup recap show here on WeTV. My name is Domenic Papa. We're coming to you from the WeTV studio, and we'll be doing this each and every day during the run of the Memorial Cup. We'll be looking at some of the video from the games. We'll be looking at some of the people behind the scenes. We'll be talking to them. There'll be some feature interviews. We'll get you all of the numbers, a lot of good statistics throughout the tournament, and we'll follow this thing right to the end, up to the championship game in about, 9 days from now on May 28th. It'll all conclude, but certainly we're looking for a great 9-10 days of outstanding hockey, and of course, certainly proud to have this in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. 4 teams have made it so far, and have made it to this point. This is it. This is the last stop. They're not going any further than this. One of them will walk away with that beautiful trophy, the Memorial Cup of the 99th edition of this tournament. Of course, next year they'll celebrate 100 years of the Memorial Cup, and that'll take place in Regina, Saskatchewan. The 4 teams that have qualified, coming from the Western Hockey League, is the Seattle Thunderbirds. Coming from the Ontario Hockey League, the Erie Otters. The Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the St. John Sea Dogs. And the host team, of course, right here in Windsor, the Windsor Spitfires, who despite being ousted from the playoffs early, nobody counting this team out, they have an outstanding hockey club and should be very competitive throughout this tournament. This is what the schedule looks like. Let's run down the dates for you so you can make note of it. Of course, it all kicks off tonight. We'll get into that game in just a moment right now, but let's get that schedule back up, guys. Of course, tomorrow there'll be game 2. This game will be at 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's Seattle will take on the Erie Otters. So you got the Western champion against the OHL champion tomorrow afternoon. That game again at 3 o'clock. They moved the times on it from 7 o'clock, so make note of that. The Spitfires will be back in action on Sunday evening. They'll take on Seattle. So Seattle playing back-to-back games. On Monday, the Erie Otters and the St. John Sea Dogs will battle Monday evening. Tuesday evening, it'll be Seattle and St. John's. Wednesday will be the Spitfires and the Erie Otters. That's the first, the round-robin portion, if you want, of the tournament. A lot of people looking at St. John's and Erie, perhaps running neck and neck heading into this tournament, maybe as the teams to beat. Don't say that to the Seattle Thunderbirds or the Windsor Spitfires, though, because they'll make a good argument with you. The rest of the schedule goes like this. On Thursday, if needed, a tiebreaker game, and this happens often, folks, with this tournament, but they've left that date open in case there is a tiebreaker game needed. The semifinal will take place on Friday evening, May 26th, and then Saturday, there will not be a game from the tournament, but an outstanding alumni game. A number of NHLers coming in town to take part in this game, including some of the former Spitfires that won a couple of Memorial Cups. That's going to be a great day. We'll have more on that as it comes close. And then Sunday afternoon, of course, May 28th, the Memorial Cup final, the championship game. Who will be there? We don't know yet, but certainly in the next 3 or 4 days, we'll find out who has a good shot at getting there and have a chance to take home a pretty nice trophy. As mentioned, Game 1 will take place tonight, 7 o'clock. We're just about a little more than 3.5 hours away from the drop of the puck at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. You can see that in the background here of our set. And the Spitfires will take on the St. John Sea Dogs, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League champions. Earlier in the week, all the teams arrived to the city of Windsor, and we had a chance to meet all 4 coaches as they were featured in a press conference. Our Bill Kelso, who will be working hard all week for us, was there to take it in. Let's send it over to Bill.
Hi, everyone. This is Bill Kelso reporting to you folks from the WFCU Center, home of the 99th Memorial Cup Championship Series. Tonight is the first night of, well, actually, I think starts here. This is the press conference for the four coaches for the respective four teams are holding a press conference. We're going to go to that press conference momentarily. Rocky Thompson, representing, of course, the Windsor Spitfires. Chris Knobloch, representing the Erie Otters. Steve Kwanachuk, the Seattle Thunderbirds. And Dan Flynn with the St. John Sea Dogs. Let's go to that press conference right now.
What do you have to do to your team to get them fired up? This is different than a 7-game series when you've got to win 4. You've got to try to win one right away. Do you change the way you prepare your team mentally?
For me, it's just, again, stressing a little bit of the urgency. All the teams have come off big wins, and just stress the urgency and make sure they get competitive real quickly.
I think it can be such an emotional high after you win the OHL championship or the WHLQ that sometimes it's hard to get your players refocused. And my experience here before, I saw that where we came as an underdog, didn't anticipate being in the Memorial Cup, and having troubles getting the players going and right from the start. But I think through our group this year, we have been talking about May 28th being in that game, and I think we're ahead of the team that I had last time I was here. So I think our players are very hungry and wanting to make that next step.
Yeah, I think both coaches are 100% right. You go through the high of winning your league in 4 tough rounds in 8 weeks, and then you got to refocus and go to a tournament against teams you don't really know. The teams are better, the stakes are higher. You have to play better, but to get your team emotionally to press a reset button, to park the league championship and come back in here with your edge, that's one of the big challenges the coaches have.
For us, the emotion will definitely play a factor because we haven't played so long. Our guys can't wait to play. So it'll be about us controlling our emotion and then taking advantage of it and translating it into energy. These guys are coming off emotional highs, like they've all just said. Our team, have been through an emotional roller coaster ourselves, and for us, it's all mental and preparing ourselves for that mental aspect of what it's going to be like when we play there in front of the cameras against these individuals, against these teams, and controlling that emotion and then have it translate into something positive for us. So I think it'll be something that we can get right off on, at the start of the puck. We don't have to wait about shaking off any rust. We just go out there and play because we're ready.
So, folks, that is the story here from the WFSU Center. The press conference is over. The games on the ice are set to begin. You folks have gotten a pretty good look at what the coaches are thinking as coming into this tournament, and now the best is yet to come. This is Bill Kelso reporting for WeTV.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Good report, and we certainly appreciate your efforts. Bill, again, will be working with us throughout the week, filing reports from the games and getting some game reaction for you right here on the Mastercard Memorial Recap show here on WeTV. As mentioned, those are the 4 remaining teams out of 60 junior hockey teams, so obviously all 4 coaches very excited to be here, and why wouldn't you be? As I mentioned, you're one of 4 teams still playing out of the 60 teams in the CHL, so what a great accomplishment to get this far, and certainly to be a part of something that's not only your hometown communities that you play in, but this has national interest, and rightfully so, indeed. St. John and the Windsor Spitfires will kick it off tonight. The St. John Sea Dogs, of course, winning the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League Championship just about a week ago or so. The Spitfires have been sitting, waiting. They've been in training, so to speak. Here's a look at some of the numbers going head-to-head for these 2 teams. During the regular season, you can see Matthew Highmore for the Sea Dogs was their leading point man with 89. It looked like very balanced scoring attack, the top 4 guys there for the Sea Dogs and Coach Dan Flynn. In the playoffs, you saw Thomas Chabot, the Team Canada player, who missed a chunk of the season, but certainly came on strong in the playoffs, contributing 23 points. Spencer Smallman, the overage player, an outstanding job, very even numbers there with 11 and 11 stats. And this is an outstanding hockey team. You look at their goaltender, Callum Booth. This is a goalie they made a trade for. That's the piece that they really wanted to address, and he came in and played outstanding. He's played in all 18 playoff games for the St. John's squad, and his numbers, if you look at them, incredibly impressive. Only 1.67 goals against, a .923 save percentage, and obviously a 16-1 record. Also had 4 shutouts in the playoffs. The Sea Dogs were outstanding in the postseason, that is for sure. For the Spitfires, impressive numbers during the regular season. Gabriel Vilardi, I'll tell you what, this guy, he's probably going to be in about the top 5 pick overall, I would guess. Scouts just love this kid. Why not? Outstanding regular season. A couple of injuries, little injuries here and there, but Vilardi down the stretch was probably the best Spitfire forward, and he's one of their youngest players. So what a future for him, and what a future with Windsor Spitfires with Gabriel Vilardi. But Jeremy Bracco, of course, was acquired in a trade with Kitchener at the deadline, and Jeremiah Addison, who was an off-season acquisition, he wore the C, of course, filling in at the time. And I'll tell you what, Jeremiah Addison, he could be a big factor when this is all said and done. Just signed a free agent contract with the Montreal Canadiens. You look at the playoffs, just the one series, 7-game series with the London Knights, but Vilardi again, impressive with 6 points in those 7 games. Addison, of course, and Bracco, the 3 guys we just spoke about, very solid. Sean Day, also a pretty good playoff series with London. They'll need his mobility back there to be successful as well. Michael DiPietro, the young goaltending prospect, did play in all 7 games for the Spitfires, and you know what? He played very well. He didn't look out of place. He didn't look shaken at all. This is going to be a good test for him. 17-year-old goalie, and you're going in as the number 1 goalie in the, I'll tell you what, the spotlight here at the Memorial Cup. But Michael is ready for the task, and I don't expect him to let the team down or let the Spitfire fans down. He'll be solid between the pipes. So that's a look at the game tonight, head-to-head, the numbers from the 2 teams in the regular season and also in their playoff runs. Let's take a closer look now at the St. John Sea Dogs team. Let's look at the road as to how they got here to the Memorial Cup. Of course, in the regular season, just losing 14 games, 48-14, 5-1. They finished first in the league, first in their division. As I mentioned, their playoff record, 16-2. In the first round, they defeated the Rimouski Oceanic 4-0. Then they took on Val-d'Or. Again, the same result there, 4-0. The Chicoutimi Saguenayens were able to trip them up a couple of times, 4-2 in that series. And in the finals against Blainville, all St. John, as they took care of business, 4-0. Coach Danny Flynn, that series wasn't as easy as it looks on paper here. He said those were all tough games against Blainville, but you know what? Great teams find ways to win those tough games, and that's why St. John is here. They're a great team. Their Memorial Cup records or history, of course, they've qualified this year as the Quebec champion. They won the Memorial Cup in 2011. That was the year after the Spitfires last won their Memorial Cup. And this is their 3rd appearance to the Memorial Cup. They also had appearances in 2012 and 2011. Here's more on the St. John Sea Dogs and their quest for the Memorial Cup. First, tell me about getting this tournament off and running and playing against the home team. How tough do you think that'll be? Does it add a little more pressure here?
I think it's super exciting. I think we're blessed with a great opportunity here in the CHL, just having the opportunity to play in a Memorial Cup like that. I think not many leagues around the world. Usually you go through the excitement of winning your championship, and then you have to wait a whole another year to go through it again. And we only had to wait a week, so we're pretty excited to get things started, and it should be fun.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a break, but you're playing against Windsor, the home team. They're expecting a huge packed house here. What's going to be key going into that game for your club to maybe even get that crowd silenced?
They're an amazing team. They're very skilled, and we know that, just like every other team here. So we're going to try and stay focused and play our game, and hopefully it'll work out for us.
Tell me about the season and getting to this point for your club, what it means and how it's maybe even brought the team that much closer, and knowing that you're just a step away from grabbing that Memorial Cup.
For sure, it's been a really fun season with all the excitement of finishing first in our league and then winning the President's Cup. It's been amazing, but our goal the whole way along was this Mem Cup, and we're still staying focused, and our eyes are set on that.
The team is pretty well prepared. I think we've worked all week. We had a lot of days off. We had the chance to finish the last year in 4 games, so we had a lot of rest. A lot of guys recharge. Some guys had some low bruise here and there, and so they took the time to take care of that. And we got ready all week, and obviously everyone's excited. And, we kind of got off the rush of winning our league. Now we're ready for that tournament, and we're really excited.
How important was it, Tom, to have that little bit of rest in between winning the Quebec Championship and starting the Memorial Cup?
I think it's huge. Like along the playoffs, obviously we had the chance to sweep 3 rounds, but one round against Chicoutimi, the semifinal, was pretty hard in 6 games. So some guys might have been a little injured after those games, but it was huge for us to win the last series in 4 games. We had the time to celebrate or win the championship, and we also had time to get some rest and get ready for this tournament.
For me, it's amazing to be here. It's my 5th year with St. John, and ever since I got here, they've been preaching 2017 is our year to make a run for it. I think we got a great team. We did real well through the playoffs. We really found our game in the finals, I found, and we're just excited to test ourselves against the best teams in junior hockey.
You had a little bit of time off between championships. You won the Quebec League about a week or so ago. How much does that help the team in the long run here?
I think it's huge. We get to celebrate that cup for a bit and enjoy that, and then we got right back to work the next day and started working hard, refocusing on this championship. Rest up some little hockey injuries, little bumps and bruises. So I think that's definitely an advantage to us.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, a lot of kids my age, don't really have that much experience. Coming to a Memorial Cup and winning a league championship, and I'm really grateful for that. And I have a really good opportunity here with the Sea Dogs. I think we had a really good chance, and like I said, a lot of kids don't really have that opportunity, and I'm really grateful for that.
You came into the Quebec League with a lot of fanfare, Joe, because you were an underage player. You were a special status player, if I did my homework correctly here. So for yourself, having that, obviously expectations are you to contribute right away. How tough is that for you?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously there's going to be always that spotlight, and at this point I think I've been able to deal with that pretty well, and I just go out there, play my game, and focus on what I have to do. Not what the others think, and it's just important what I have to do to help my team improve, and what I have to do to make the team win, and in that case, everything's going to be fine.
Our guys are excited to get here, and because we went 3 rounds last year with a younger team and have a lot of them back this year, our goal from the start of the year was, no disrespect, it wasn't to win the President's Cup, it's to earn our right here and to try and win the Memorial Cup. So I think our guys are hungry for more. We had a couple days off to kind of enjoy it and then get back to work, and we got a good leadership group. They're hungry. We know the tournament's going to be really tough, and you go through 4 rounds. You got to win 4 rounds in 8 weeks. With travel in the middle, it's a tough grind. That's why this league prepares players for pro. It's the best development league in the world. But now you got to press reset, and you got to go to a tournament of champions where the teams are better, the stakes are higher. You have to play better.
Indeed, a very focused hockey club, the St. John Sea Dogs. Head coach Dan Flynn, of course, I think he spent 8 seasons here in the Ontario Hockey League with London, and I believe it was the Belleville Bulls, Coach Flynn there. But he's been coaching for a long time now. He knows what it takes to win, and he's very confident in his hockey club. They've got 11 players, I believe it is, that have been drafted by NHL teams. So the depth on this hockey club, probably the best year at the tournament. So a lot of people looking at St. John as one of the teams, maybe the team to beat here at this year's Mastercard Memorial Cup. Their opponent tonight, the host team, the Windsor Spitfires, they have not played in about 6 weeks. So a lot of people would feel, they're probably a little bit of rust on the blades there, and certainly lack of competition in the last 6 weeks may hurt them entering this tournament. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Coach Rocky Thompson has an outstanding game plan during the break. Here's the numbers on the Spitfires this season. Of course, in the regular season, an outstanding campaign, 41-19, 5-3. They finished 7th overall in the league, 5th in their conference, 2nd in their division. They lost a 7-game series in the first round to the London Knights, a thrilling series, and that series really could have went either way. And the coaches that are here from the other teams at the Memorial Cup, They're aware of the Spitfire Hockey Club. They're not taking them lightly at all. They feel that the Spitfires belong to be here. Of course, as I mentioned, they lost the Knights 4-3. Their Memorial Cup history, they are qualified as the hosts this year. This is their 4th appearance in the Memorial Cup. Of course, they won back-to-back championships in 2009, 2010. That was in Rimouski and in Brandon, Manitoba. And their first appearance at the Memorial Cup was way back in 1988 in Chicoutimi, Quebec. I was at that tournament, and talk about a heartbreaker. They lost to Trevor Linden and the Medicine Hat Tigers in that championship game. Of course, Adam Graves was then the captain of the Windsor Spitfires. They had some greats like Pat Jablonski, Peter Ing in net, Daryl Shannon on defense, Darren Shannon up front, David Haas, Mike Wolak, just an outstanding hockey team. And a lot of people felt that game there with Medicine Hat, the Spitfires were upset, and I think so too, because to me, Windsor was the best team. Just came up short in that championship game. And that's why this tournament is so tough. It's not a series. It's one game at a time, and every game means so much. It could mean your way to a championship or your exit out. So every game, very vital. The Spitfires, of course, will host the game tonight. Here's head coach Rocky Thompson talking about the tournament.
I truly believe that the best teams in these leagues have come out of it. And with that said, my group is extremely excited to get started and to compete against these gentlemen here and their teams. Nothing but respect for them and what they've accomplished, but we're excited to get going as well. Because we haven't played so long, our guys can't wait to play. So it'll be about us controlling our emotion and then taking advantage of it and translating it into energy. These guys are coming off emotional highs like they've all just said. Our team, have been through an emotional roller coaster ourselves, and for us, it's all mental and preparing ourselves for that mental aspect of what it's going to be like when we play there in front of the cameras against these individuals, against these teams, and controlling that emotion and have it translate into something positive for us. So I think it'll be something that we can get right off on at the start of the puck. We don't have to wait about shaking off any rust. We just go out there and play because we're ready.
Many may wonder how the Spitfires did prepare for the Memorial Cup with the 6 weeks off. Well, they took a little bit of time off, which I think was a smart move to heal up some of the bumps and bruises, get some of the injuries out of the way. Then they came back and had basically a training camp. They did a ton of off-ice training, workouts, things like that. Then they got back on the ice and they trained hard there and played some scrimmages. They played against some university hockey players that are from the area, also some of the OHL players that were finished with their seasons, controlled scrimmages. So the tempo was very upbeat and fast, so that's a good thing. Of course, the physical part wasn't there, but that's something the Spitfires, I'm sure, will be ready for tonight. St. John's a very big hockey team. You have to wonder if they're going to try to bring that physical element into the game right away. I think what is key for the Spitfires is getting out of the gates, getting that first 5, 6, 7 minutes out of the way to get their legs going, get their game going, their timing. If they could survive that, okay, you know what, I think they'll be all right. But again, they're in tough tonight to start this tournament against the St. John's Sea Dogs. The Spitfires and Sea Dogs going at 7 p.m. We're less than 3.5 hours away from that drop of the puck. Of course, all the games here at the 99th edition of the Mastercard Memorial Cup Championships will be broadcast live on Sportsnet. Great bunch of guys, outstanding broadcast team, play-by-play team of RJ Broadhead, and of course Sam Constantino. Sam's been around doing it forever, and what a wealth of knowledge he brings to the table. RJ Broadhead, an outstanding play-by-play man. And one other gentleman you'll see on the broadcast, working kind of like what we call the sidelines, is a veteran himself. He's been around this tournament for a long time. He's been around junior hockey for a real long time between Sudbury and London, and then landing with Sportsnet. That is, of course, Mr. Rob Follensbee. We had a chance to catch up with him and get his thoughts about junior hockey, the Memorial Cup, and also here in Windsor. No stranger to hockey viewers throughout the country, certainly does a great job with the Sportsnet group, and he's back for another year of the Memorial Cup. Rob Follensbee joins us, and great to have you in Windsor, Rob. And does this ever get old for you?
You know, it doesn't, because of the fact the faces always change. There's a different look every year, and sometimes you wonder whether or not certain teams have played to their potential yet. But with this one has an interesting feel because it's so even. And we've been trying to, Sam, RJ, and I coming to the rink in the car, we're going, well, who do you think's going to have the edge here? And we'll go through the pros and cons of every team. Oh, this team's definitely better. Well, but this team's got this. So it never gets old because of the fact there's always different faces, different energies, and different storylines. I mean, even the storyline in Windsor right now is a good one because they're a good team that lost to a very good team in their own playoffs and have had to sit and wait while the other teams have made their way here.
You mentioned teams. Talk about the team at Sportsnet, though. You guys, you mentioned Sam, RJ's here, but all of you guys come together and really, I mean, you've helped this event become something pretty spectacular. The goal for you guys when you come and put this thing together?
Well, we're very proud of it. In fact, when Sportsnet signed in 1998 and we signed on, one of our major acquisitions was the Canadian Hockey League. And so we've been doing it since our inception as a network. We're proud of it because of the showcase that we give to these players. It is their final launching pad before they go on to a professional career. And the people that we have involved truly love the game and love to see these young players blossom and grow into something special. Sam, I don't think there's a guy in the country that does his homework as much as Sam, and to that extent RJ. They're on the phone all the time. They're watching games, whether it be on internet or they're on their phone. Oh, look, I'm watching such and such. And these guys do their homework and they're prepared. And I think because it's become a labor of love for the network, it trickles down. We know how much we care about it, and every member of this crew gets that feeling from us as well and are inspired to do the best job possible because we know that what we're seeing is the stars that the kids will be trying to be in the driveway in 2-3 years. Oh, I'm going to be Matt Barzal. I want to be Jeremy Bracco. I'm going to be Michael DiPietro. That's what we're seeing, and it's great to be part of that too. It keeps you young. I tell you that.
Yeah, well, you still got that young look, that's for sure. And you lead me right into my next question, Rob. You look at the history of what you guys have created and covered here, and the players that have come through this Mastercard Memorial Cup tournament. Do you ever look back and reflect, and do you put things in perspective, what you've accomplished?
Especially when all of a sudden I see the sons of players that I covered when I first started. My first junior game that I covered was in the 70s. I did play-by-play in the London Knights, then went to Sudbury, and then have always been a big supporter, a big fan of junior hockey in this country. So to watch them now and watch all of a sudden them take that step, and for example, Paul Maurice or Peter DeBoer played in Windsor. Now they're coaches in the National Hockey League. You remember calling their names. Dale Hunter, coach in London, was on the Sudbury Wolves bus with me when I was doing play-by-play in Sudbury. And so it's seeing that and then seeing their sons or see how they develop within the game. It's not only refreshing, but it is really nice to see the growth that you can have within the game, or how much they stay close to the game. How many players have come back and bought into the teams? All that, and to be part of it and have been part of it for such a long time is really rewarding to me.
Obviously, there's always changes in the world, Rob. No doubt in sports as well. And the CHL's facing some challenges. How important is it to keep this alive and keep this growing and justify, what it needs to be done?
I think it's very important because what it is a unifying force. You have communities that jump in and support their team like nothing else. I mean, in many of these small communities, the junior hockey team is their major team. That's how they identify with themselves. That's how they identify as a community within their province and maybe within the country. I think if we see this next step, it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to stay alive. I feel, though, this is an opportunity for young players, if they want to take that next step and get stronger and make that jump to a professional career, that the Canadian Hockey League is the best way to do it. Somebody said to me once, if they don't want to play at this level, they don't have to sign and say, I want to play at this level. They're making the decision, I imagine with a lot of input from family, friends, and people around them about whether or not they want to take this step. I think the Canadian Hockey League is such a great developmental system, and now with the added bonus of going and saying, okay, maybe I don't have a pro career, but I'm going to get my education. So you can play the game you love, you can give it a shot, but you know that down the road that you can follow up and get an education. I think that has been key to what has made the CHL successful and why so many players want to play in the CHL, because they get the best of both worlds. They get to play the highest level of hockey, and they know they have the opportunity to follow their academic plans too.
If we can just finish it up, bring it back home here, Rob, to Windsor. You've made a lot of friends, I'm sure, throughout the country, which is always a great thing to do. But here in Windsor, you have friends. You're going to be here for the next little while, doing the Cup, working the Cup. Windsor, what does that mean to you, and what does Windsor bring to the table on a whole, even outside the hockey?
Well, Windsor's such a great host because they have an affinity for the game. They have an affinity for what they are going to present themselves to the rest of the country in North America. I first got to know Windsor when I worked in London. I worked for with the London Knights, and of course our trips back and forth along the 401 to play Windsor at the old barn were legendary. Long many times because we had to keep picking up equipment after the bench cleared. But there's an energy about Windsor. There's a passion for sports about this city, and it translates through from people I met when I first started doing hockey as a kid in London. Still come up to me at this rink and say, "Hi, Rob, how you doing? How are things going?" I've watched them grow up. I've watched their kids all of a sudden develop, and it's become really a great community. And the people that are running the organization are good people. They care about the kids, they care about the game, and they really want to put forward the best show possible. I love coming to this barn. It's great because the energy is here, and you're going to get first-class treatment. So coming to Windsor is always special.
Certainly one of the good guys, Rob Follensbee of the Rogers Sportsnet team. Of course, him and Sam and RJ Broadhead bringing you all the action tonight of the 99th Memorial Cup edition here in Windsor, Ontario. Again, they'll be broadcasting all games live on Rogers Sportsnet. So we certainly thank Rob for helping us out here today with the Mastercard Memorial Cup recap show here on WeTV. Before we let you go, just again a quick reminder of the schedule for the upcoming Memorial Cup Championship, the games that'll be taking place, of course, tonight, 7 p.m. The St. John Sea Dogs and the Windsor Spitfires do battle. 3 o'clock tomorrow, the Erie Otters host the Seattle Thunderbirds. On Sunday, May 21st, 7 p.m. start, the Spitfires and the Seattle Thunderbirds. Monday, the 22nd, the Erie Otters and the Sea Dogs will do battle, a 7 o'clock start. Tuesday, May 23rd, Seattle and the Sea Dogs. Wednesday, May 24th, the Spitfires and the Otters. We'll probably have a good idea who's doing what and going where by the time that game rolls around. Tiebreaker game, if necessary, will take place on Thursday. Friday will be the semifinal game. Saturday, the CHL alumni game. A lot of NHLers, former NHLers, will be participating in that. That should be a fun game. And, of course, it all comes down to one game on Sunday, May 28th, the Memorial Cup Championship Final at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. So things to look forward to here on this show, the Mastercard Memorial Cup recap here on WeTV. Tomorrow, we'll be right back here at 12 noon. Of course, the game is at 3 o'clock, so we want to give you 3 hours to soak in our show and get all the facts and figures right here on WeTV. So we'll be here on live, on Facebook Live starting at 12 noon. We'll have a special analyst with us tomorrow. He's a two-time Memorial Cup champion, Mr. Eric Wellwood, of course, who played with the Philadelphia Flyers and now is coaching with the Flint Firebirds. He was part of those Windsor Spitfire Cup teams. He'll be our guest analyst tomorrow. We will take a look at the Erie Otters and the Seattle Thunderbird game tomorrow. We'll break down the numbers for you. We'll also get you the information as to how they got here. We'll have a special interview with the general manager of the Erie Otters, a great guy, and boy, does this guy ever work hard. GM Dave Brown. We'll do a feature piece with him. And we'll also take a look at tonight's game. We'll recap that. Bill Kelso will have a report. He'll have some game reaction for you here tomorrow on the Mastercard Memorial Cup recap show on WeTV. So that's the story here today. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thanks to the guys working hard behind the scenes, Darrin DiCarlo, Aaron Wrotkowski, of course, Albert Falkestajn and Bill Kelso, and the hardworking crew here at WeTV for putting this together. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon. Until then, this is Domenic Papa wishing you a great day. Take care, everybody.